With Iowa football on a bye, we take a look at the Iowa basketball team and why Ben McCollum's first team has a chance to reach the Sweet 16.
You are Locked On Hawkeyes, your daily podcast on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome in. I'm Trent Condon, and this is the Locked On Hawkeyes podcast. Thanks for making Locked On Hawkeyes your first listen every day. We are your daily Iowa Hawkeye podcast. Got you covered. It is the crossover season with basketball and football upon us, and a whole lot more. Wrestling, some of the fall sports wrapping up. It is a busy time. I've been covering the Hawkeyes for over 20 years on the radio. You can hear me currently on the Iowa Sports Radio Network each weekday from noon to 2. Today, we are going to break things down on the basketball front. Going to talk some about what we saw last night in the Iowa women's exhibition win as they get ready for the start of their season next week. We'll be joined by Eliot Clough. Some thoughts on the scrimmage on the men's side against Texas Tech, what he learned from that one, and some football news and notes that we will get into as well today. We are also going to hear a little bit later on from three of the players that are going to be some big pieces for this Iowa basketball team, certainly in the now and into the future. Isaia Howard, an exciting transfer from Drake, a super athletic guy that's really going to help them out this season. And then a couple of the big guys, Trey Thompson, who reclassified. We will hear from him and is now part of this Iowa basketball team, what he thinks he can do to help this squad out this season. And Trevin Jirak, the big man from Valley that comes in, and another guy that's going to have to give them some minutes, I believe, this season. In fact, let's begin there, the conversation, and talk about this Iowa men's basketball team as we have talked about kind of leading into this season. I know there's a lot of excitement. New regime, Ben McCollum coming in, a guy that certainly is going to do and build his program in a different way than what we saw previously under Fran McCaffery. And for all the disappointment of the Fran McCaffery era, I still think that we have to remember the good moments, realize what he did in bringing this program back from the doldrums. And now it's time for a new coach to lead them to another level and take that level that we haven't seen since I was a freshman in college. And though you can't see it because I got a stocking cap on today, there is a lot of gray hair underneath that one. 1999. I remember vividly watching the game at One-Eye Jake's against UConn in the Sweet 16, and the last time that we saw Iowa make the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. And I think that expectation can still be there for a fan base. It starts with Bennett Stirtz, a player of this caliber. If Bennett Stirtz is an All-American, then yes, that should be our expectations for this team. It has been a long time since Iowa's had a point guard like this. Not only that's going to play a ton, but it's going to be incredibly efficient, going to be able to beat you in a myriad of different ways. It's not just his ability to shoot it. It's to get his teammates involved. It's to control the pace of the game, do everything that an elite level point guard needs to do. And if you get that kind of season out of Bennett Stirtz, then yes, that's where our expectations are. Now, to expect that, taking yet another leap. 2 years ago, he was playing D2 basketball. Then he was in the Missouri Valley last year. And this final tier, if you will, in the college space now, going into the Big Ten. How rugged it is, the physicality that you have to play with, knowing game in and game out just how good these teams are, how well you're going to be scouted. It's going to be difficult, no doubt. After Stirtz, though, you have to see a lot of other guys that need to click this year. And I think maybe one of the bigger ones is after we learned in these two games in the exhibition against St. Louis and Texas Tech, in those scrimmage games, as I was not shooting the ball well. Well, one guy on this roster we know, along with Stirtz, that can shoot it well, is Brendan Hausen. And Hausen comes in, started his career at Villanova, played last season at K-State. This is a guy that is just that, a sharpshooter. Now, there's not a whole lot of versatility to his game. There's not a whole lot more that goes into it. What Brendan Hausen needs to do is knock down threes at a prolific pace. Not just shoot 42, 43% or better from behind the arc, but he needs to do it with volume. They need that for the rest of this team to come together. They didn't have that a season ago, McCollum and company, when they were at Drake. They didn't have that elite level shooting that he likes to have in his squad. If Hausen can do that, though, I think that really opens up the rest of this squad. From there, Alvaro Folgueris, and I've called him the X factor of this team. This guy was a player of the year in his conference a year ago, and Folgueris at 6'9" has a very interesting skill set offensively. He can make an open shot from the outside. He can put it on the tin. He can mix it up inside, get some rebounds and go that direction. You go back and watch his Robert Morris team a year ago in the NCAA tournament against Alabama. You saw that they competed. They were right there and had an opportunity deep into the second half of pulling off what would have been a major upset. And Folgueris, he looks the part. Now, it feels like they're working to get him more engaged, to not float, to have the kind of tenacity that they want for all 25, 30 minutes that he's going to be on the floor. But I believe Stirtz is going to be there. Hausen is going to be able to shoot it from the outside. Folgueris, though, again, getting to that level that we're talking about, getting to the second weekend, he is an important piece to be out there. Cam Manwah is also going to be another one of your starters. Undersized to be a center in the Big Ten, but he is tough. He is physical. He is rugged. He's also foul prone. And that leads to concerns because when he's out there, he's going to be fine. I have very little concern about him defensively, being able to mix it up inside, get some offensive rebounds, be that junkyard dog. I think you're going to get that out of Cam. It's the rest of it that becomes the question. And then from there, the questions are, who else is going to start on this team? Stirtz, Hausen in the backcourt. Front court, Manwah, Folgueris. Both those guys are going to be out there. Who is going to be the fifth starter? Is it going to be Isaiah Howard, who we'll hear from a little bit later on? Do they want to go with another ball handler and Cale Combs, who is your backup point guard, but they go to that direction, and a guy that can shoot it a little bit better from the outside? Tavion Banks, great athlete. He is a guy that I know that they think really is going to be able to compete at that level. Maybe it's Cooper Koch. Now, we've heard a ton about Cooper after being one of the few holdovers from the Fran McCaffrey era, as he's still learning how to play defense in the way that McCollum and company expect them to play on the defensive end of the floor. But this Iowa basketball team, there's a lot of pieces. And a couple of guys then that we didn't mention. Talk about Trevin Jirak. He has to be somebody that can come in, and if injury trouble hits at 6'11", 250 pounds, is he going to be able to go out there? I don't have any concerns about Jirak. Offensively, he can score. Watching him and calling the number of Valley games that I did throughout the course of his career, he is going to be able to score, and he can score against guys that are more skilled, more athletic. He has that kind of skill set. He can knock down a three-pointer. He can go inside and battle. He can knock down the elbow jumper. He's got a very diverse skill set. The question for him defensively, and not just being able to body against more developed guys inside, but also working against pick and roll, being able to do those things, moving his feet. That is a question that you have. Trey Thompson, a guy that looked to be targeted for Purdue. He competes. He does not back down. Tate Sage maybe is going to get some minutes, another freshman out of this group. There is a lot to be excited about this team, and I think they're going to be something that is going to keep us invested all throughout the basketball season. Well, let's hear from some of the players. Trevin Jirak, Trey Thompson, and Isaiah Howard. We'll hear from all three of those guys. Before that, we'll hear from Elliot Clough. Get you some insight into a week ago, that scrimmage against Texas Tech, what he heard about that one. Plus, Elliot's got some football conversation for us as Iowa gets ready for Oregon. We got player interviews. We got Elliot Clough. It's all coming your way next on the Locked On Hawkeyes podcast. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything. Who will score the next points to big fourth quarter comebacks. And I will tell you, in the NBA, you see so many of those fourth quarter comebacks and a great chance to jump in live. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Love the same game parlay, the chance to take a little and turn it into a lot. They got you covered on FanDuel. It keeps every game more exciting, and especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. You heard that right. $300 in bonus bets. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. FanDuel.com.
Elliot Clough standing by in Iowa City. Elliot, Trent, Ken, thanks for coming on. Football momentarily, just pick your brain if you know anything pursuant to the scrimmage against Texas Tech that was played last week. Any intel come your way on that game? What stood out? What what maybe worrisome? What have you gleaned from people you've spoken with?
Sure. So mostly our Sean Bach got that for us over at Hawkeye Insider, of course. Sean covers recruiting for basketball and football as well for us. But Tech, which not a huge deal considering they are the preseason number 10 team in the country, have a lot more continuity than this team considering all the moves with the transfer portal and all that. Of course, that's the team that Drake sounds like Iowa had some trouble shooting from deep. Still played a decent amount of young guys. As much as we can get from something like that without being there, sounds like, yeah, they struggled to shoot from three, which is something that wouldn't expect from this team, considering Bennett Stirtz, Brendan Hausen on the roster, and you've got some other young guys that can fill it up from three. So, maybe some concern there, I guess. But, all things considered, it is still early. They are playing Robert Morris for a reason next week. Get some things going. It dropped a loss, but again, not a ton of concern right now.
Yeah, and they'll have an opportunity to kind of ramp up into the schedule here. Is it more offensive or defense? You mentioned the shooting woes there, and that's a part of it, obviously. What about on the defensive side of the ball? What have you heard there? One thing that I did hear, it was an improvement from what they saw against St. Louis, but certainly not, I don't think, where Ben McCollum and that staff want them to be on the defensive end of the floor.
Right, yeah. I would imagine you're still working on some things in terms of communication, rotations, how you want to attack a pick and roll and such. And of course, they don't scout, scrimmages. So that has to, the defensive effort and scheme is going to be contingent on who you're playing, when you're playing, where you're playing. And you just don't know exactly what everything's going to look like when you're facing a team in a scrimmage. And of course, I'm not saying that fitness there is a problem, but who knows, maybe it is something to continue to work on as the season goes along. But thank you. Anyway, just something to maybe think about right now. I mean, team still hasn't played a full 5-on-5 actual game. So just something of note for now. But the last thing I'm feeling right now is concern.
Let's talk football. Trent, you done basketball-wise? Let's go back to Saturday night. Of course, they're off this week. They've won their last three and just a complete pasting of the Gophers. Your takeaway from watching Gronowski, what he did, Kamari Moulton, Weegan continues to, stake his claim amongst the top punt returners or kick returners in Hawkeye history. Your thoughts on the 41-3 win over the Gophers?
Yeah, to me, it's just a complete, exactly what Kirk Ferentz wants from his football team. Dominance in all three phases is what we saw on Saturday against Minnesota. From, like you said, Weegan, Gronowski, the passing attack, the run game. Defense was awesome. You get that interception from Zach Lutmer. I'm assuming you guys know this, but in case anybody's listening who might not, there were two touchdowns by two kids from the same high school in Northwest Iowa on Saturday, between Zach Lutmer and Reese Vandersee, both from Central Lyon, George Little Rock, a power up there in Northwest Iowa. So it's pretty cool. I'd be curious to find out the last time that happened. Having been an OABCIG graduate myself, I was pretty proud of what Cooper was able to do and his time Cooper DeJean was able to do here. But got to be proud up there if you're from Central Lyon. But anyway,
I'm glad you brought that up. I did not know that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
There you go. Well, all things considered, just about as perfect game as one can have in that moment. Of course, things to clean up. I'm sure Mark, in my opinion, Mark has still been a little bit late on some throws, some overthrows. You want to clean that up. He's hoping he can be 100% by Oregon, and of course that would hopefully change some things on the throws. Kamari Moulton, man, he is just like one shoestring tackle away from a big game. Or from a big gain or a touchdown every game, it seems like, and multiple times. And going back and reviewing the film, that was one thing. The other thing to mention about Lutmer too is Phil Parker showing off some of his knowledge on the defensive side of the field. When they're running a traditional 4-3 and they don't have a cash out there, they've got three linebackers. Parker's putting Zach Lutmer at cornerback out there with PJ Hall. So it's a move to keep one of your best players on the field. And I noticed that in the rewatch. I thought that was awesome. And to, mention the other Central Lyon player, Reese had that awesome catch in the corner of the end zone. I just don't see anybody else on this roster doing that right now, maybe other than Dayton Howard, who wasn't available. Right. But getting Reese back is huge and seems like he's really hit his stride now.
This defense was, frankly, for Iowa standards, bad in the first month of the season. You go back to what we saw, different portions of it, even against Albany, there were stretches. But here they are, and they're playing at an elite level once again. One thing that I was reminded of, Phil Parker talked about maybe having to change some things up because of the way that they were tackling early in the season. Maybe file that one away for next season. But what has it been? What do you think is the key to this defense seemingly turning around and becoming once again an elite level defense?
I think chemistry and having played actual games on the field together is something that's incredibly underrated right now, because while this team were veterans, they weren't experienced, if that makes sense. Because you go down the line with Jackson Rexroth, now Jaden Montgomery, who has been awesome in stepping into that Mike linebacker role, Carson Shire, then to Cohen Entringer, and like a Zach Lutmer. Lutmer got to play a little bit last year and got probably more experience than a redshirt freshman typically does. But now they're starting to find some cohesiveness. They're starting to obviously turn the ball over. That's massive. And the execution, I think, is there. And honestly, like, Montgomery has been a huge part of that. His ability to read and react, I think, has been better than Jaden Harrell's was. His ability to just make the play when it's presented to him, trust his eyes, trust his film study, that's been massive. And another thing, I think Xavier Wampa has really started to fill his shoes in that free safety spot. He is laying the wood out there on some of these hits. And TJ Hall, I mean, he was great from the beginning of the season, but he's really just elite. Finally got that first interception. Deshaun Lee is playing well. Yeah, I mean, and I think that it's silly. It's kind of coach speak, but confidence is a big part of that too. Like, they've been able to hold these pretty good teams to incredibly, like, Minnesota could do nothing against Iowa on Saturday. The only reason they got in Iowa territory for that field goal was 3 penalties. Yep. That's the only reason. It should have been 41-0. This defense is playing like one of the best in the country right now. And, at the beginning of the season, it would have been very easy, especially with the way Dante Moore started the year, to say, that's another blowout, top 10 team coming to Kinnick. They're going to, a lot of these games, these top 25 games haven't been at Kinnick, but it was just a feel of Oregon's going to come to town and beat the crap out of them. And you don't feel that way anymore at all. And a lot of it is because of this defense.
Wish it was this week. That's when to keep that momentum going. Elliot Clough. Elliot, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. We will talk to you next week. Thank you, Elliot.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you. HawkeyeInsider.com 24/7 Sport.
All right, talking with Trevin Jirak, the freshman from West Des Moines Valley. Trev, good to see you once again. Boy, you're looking different. Looks like you're putting in that work. Now, I saw you over in West Des Moines every once in a while. I saw you like running in some of the practice fields and stuff like that. Yeah. You've been putting in the work. So tell us just physically, I mean, weight-wise, are you down? Are you stronger? Kind of what's happening there working to transform your body?
Weight-wise, I'm a little bit heavier than I came in. Not a whole lot, but a little bit heavier, but it's more of a muscle way than it is more of a fat way, which is good. My body's transformed a good amount. I'm in the best shape that I've been in my life. It's hard not to be when you do what we do every day. So, that's the biggest transformation so far with me.
Talking to Coach McCollum, he talked about your offensive skill set. I saw it in the 30 games I called of yours over the last 3 years in high school. Definitely know that. And, your story, starting kind of as a guard when you're a little kid and then just growing as much as you did in middle school and early in high school, certainly changes that. How about the defensive end, though? We know you can score and probably score against anybody. What are you learning on that side of the ball?
A lot, because there's a long way for me to go yet. I've improved a little bit, but there's still a long ways to go. That's something that coach is always going to want me to be better at, is defending the ball screens. And, it's things that I'm trying to figure out still, because the quickness of everyone's a big difference in what I've been playing. So just trying to adjust to that and doing what our defense is supposed to do. I'm still trying to figure all that out, but I'll get there one day.
So defensively, right now, would you rather be going up against like a 7-1 behemoth inside or going against a ball screen with like Braden Smith?
Probably a 7-1 behemoth, probably. that's more of my type.
Yeah.
Just go one-on-one and let's see who's stronger, who can win that matchup.
So your first year here, need some size inside, and foul trouble's going to happen. You're going to have, I'm sure, opportunities this year. What are your expectations for yourself in year number one?
Just to go out there and do my role. I'm not going to be the guy that goes out there and scores 30 points a game, shooting 20 shots a game. It's not what I'm here to do. My goal is just to go out there, guard the ball screens, do what I'm supposed to do offensively, get to the next offensive action, make reads, make good passes, and score and rebound when I need to do that. Those are the things that I would be doing.
So take us back to Coach McCollum gets the job, makes the call. I know Grandpa and Grandma up there in Northeast Iowa, it's going to be a little bit further drive for them. I talked to them after one of your Valley games this past 2 seasons ago. But how that all came together and just the opportunity to wear the black and gold.
Yeah, so, McCollum took the job here, and I grew up a lifelong Hawkeye. My 2 brothers and my dad went here, so I always wanted to be a Hawk, and then, I took the job here, and like you said, now my grandparents got a farther drive, but, it's awesome to be here. You love being in the black and gold. You can't wait for Carver to be fully packed again and be where it needs to be.
Hi, joined by Isaia Howard. Isaia, tell us a little bit about the transfer, kind of how it came together and what other phone calls, other teams, other programs that were interested, kind of what that was like after you made the decision that you're going to enter the portal and leave Drake.
So Matt kind of called me and told me that he was going to come here and take the job. In that same phone call, he was like, I would like for you to come with me. If that's something that you would want to do. So I said, yeah. And I called my mom right after and just let her know what was kind of going on. I kind of already, you see the stuff in the media and stuff. So you just kind of, and she's always worried about she sees the stuff. So I just let her know kind of what's happening. Told her that I would like to call her back and kind of talk about it. She said she agreed. So, I'm here.
You're here. So did you grow up like a Big 12 fan, like Kansas fan down there, K-State, Mizzou, or?
Yeah, I was kind of a Mizzou fan.
Okay.
From Mizzou.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a favorite college basketball team. I kind of just watched it. I never really watched basketball. I watch it, but not crazy.
Yeah.
So I never really had a true diehard college basketball fan.
So now in the Big 10. Different environments. You guys open up Big Ten play, of course, going on the road to Michigan State. You got the road trip to Iowa State, the non-conference. So tell us a couple of venues you're excited to go to here in your first go-around of the Big Ten.
I think we go to Oregon. I think
that ugly court?
Honestly, I've always wanted to go to Oregon. I was kind of like a huge football fan when I was younger, so I was Oregon was it. So Oregon would definitely be cool. Michigan State for sure. Iowa State. I think a lot of the coast teams would be dope, but Oregon for sure.
So tell us a little bit about this offseason leading into it and what your expectations are, how you're going to help this Iowa team.
Hoping the Iowa team is doing whatever I can to win, rebounds, play defense, score. I'm on the bench, cheering all my teammates. Whatever I can to help win it, that's what I'm going to do.
Watching you last year, Drake, definitely could see that athleticism. What about the outside shot? What have you been doing, kind of working and building that offensive skill set?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the bigger things I worked on this offseason. A lot of reps, seeing the ball go through the net, just getting comfortable with my shot and getting more confidence in it than I did. So just getting more reps.
I got Trey Thompson here, the incoming freshman for the Hawkeyes. Trey, let's go back to the transition, making the decision to reclassify, and then after you made that decision, just kind of how quickly the recruiting process went.
It was a long recruiting process. Freshman year, I started getting my first offers, and it drug out all the way to my junior year. In the last week before I wasn't committed anywhere, it kind of picked up really heavily. I was taking visits to Vanderbilt, here, Purdue, all those places, and then Coach McCollum decided to call me back. He's like, I need you this year. And then 7 days, and I was here. It was crazy.
You mentioned Purdue. One of the people, a lot of people in the recruiting industry thought you were kind of a lock for there. And the fan base, I think, felt that way too. Yeah. What's going to feel the first time in your career you get to go back to Mackey?
Mackey, it's loud. It's a great atmosphere to be in. Coach Painter's a great coach. Our coaching staff is great. I love the people there as well. I have nothing bad to say about Purdue, but I'm excited to play them for sure. I can't wait to go back.
So looking at this season, you're a little bit behind, didn't get to go through the same kind of workouts as everybody else. Tell us a little bit kind of where you are getting ready and what your expectations are in your freshman year.
I'm expecting to be an impactful player, whether that be 2 minutes or 10 minutes. I just want to make an impact wherever I can, bring energy every single day in practice, and hopefully work on defense. I'm so used to worrying about my man in high school, but in college you got to worry about all of them because they're all at a very high level and they're very, really good basketball players. So.
There it is. Some interviews with the players from Media Day. Basketball Media Day as Iowa Hoops starts on Tuesday. The women start on Monday. They played an exhibition game. We'll talk about that. Some thoughts plus my picks of the week presented by FanDuel as we continue. This is Locked On Hawkeyes. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. You can feel the craftsmanship in every detail of your Mazda, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make every day drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to great control. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Trent Condon back with you once again on the Locked On Hawkeyes podcast. Thanks for being with us and making Locked On Hawkeyes your first listen every day. And a big thank you to everyday listeners, our everydayers out there. A big thank you to you. Make sure you're hitting subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, or a 5-star review. Wrapping things up, and as we wrap up, a quick look at the women's basketball team. We'll dive deeper into them certainly next week as they open up the regular season on Monday night. An exhibition win, though, against Ashland as they cruise 104-63, jumped out to a 26-15 lead after the first quarter and rolled from there. Really, probably the biggest story is what happened with the starters. Hannah Stuelke, that was not a surprise. She was a starter out there. We knew that was going to be the case. Ava Hayden playing next to her inside. Stuelke did fire off a couple of three-pointers, didn't knock them down, but boy, she just runs the floor so well. And now her and Hayden, who also runs the floor well, this is going to be fun because with Chit Chat Wright, the new point guard, she is dynamic. She is so fast, and her, with those two posts to run the floor the way that they do in Hayden and Stuelke, you get excited about that. Taylor McCabe does Taylor McCabe things, knocks down three-pointers in the game, exactly what you want to see from her. Kylie Feuerbach struggled with the shot. 1 of 5 from the floor, didn't make a three-pointer in the game. 3 of 6 also at the free throw line. However, you see that good defense. She's sharing the ball, doing the things that she needs to do, but her bread and butter is going to be on the defensive end of the floor. Being that lockdown defender on the perimeter, that's what you need out of Kylie Feuerbach. Really like what I saw from Emily Rodriguez. She is tough. A different kind of skill set than what we've seen recently. An ability to go to the floor, just the toughness that she brings. And really, I mean, you go back and you look, her ability to be that bulldog inside, you kind of get some Sydney Fulter vibes from her. Really, really like what we're going to see, and I think there's going to be a whole lot more there. Speaking of bigs, Layla Hayes, she's going to help out tremendously this season. Another post that they can run out there to help out with Hayden. She's young. It's going to take some time to develop, but really like that. Of course, a lot of people are wondering about Addie Deal. There were some good moments from Addie Deal, and has a skill set offensively that's certainly going to, I think, translate and help them out. Expectations sometimes get a little bit too high. You know, another couple of players that I wondered about, we only saw a minute of Tegan Mulaney, also Taylor Stremlow, those two sophomores that we saw glimpses a year ago. You know, who's going to make that big jump forward and become a regular part of the rotation? Something to keep an eye on. Iowa's women's basketball team opens up the schedule. Not real difficult early on. They'll take on Southern in that game on Monday night. After that, it'll be against Evansville next week. Then nice matchup against Drake. We know they're always a contender in the Missouri Valley at UNI after that. And then they go down to Florida, Baylor, Miami, UConn a little bit later in the non-com, a road trip to Iowa State this year. So going to be fun to watch this team. And I think they got a chance to make a run and a lot of upside on this team, I think, going forward. That is it for today. Thanks for being with us as always and making Locked On Hawkeyes your first listen every day. We got you covered, your daily Iowa Hawkeye podcast, and we got a whole lot more coming your way by week, but that doesn't matter. We got you covered. Football, basketball. We got to talk some wrestling as they get ready for the start of their season and a whole lot more. Make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you to our everyday listeners. You everydayers make it possible for us to bring you this daily Iowa Hawkeye podcast. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, go Hawks.